Olá, pessoal. Meu nome é Júlia Bueno e hoje eu vou entrevistar o Charlie Starr aqui pelo Manifesto Bar. Vou deixar ele entrar na nossa sala do Zoom e vamos começar. Cada pergunta que eu fizer, eu vou fazer em inglês, vou ouvir a resposta dele, vou fazer a tradução para vocês para o português e aí a gente passa para a próxima, ok? Muito obrigada. Hi, Charlie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you? I love your setup.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
I like it. Looks really fancy. Do you do a lot of podcasts?
No, well, a lot of Zoom interviews.
Makes sense. Well, first of all, it's really nice to be here today. It's really nice to meet you in person. We are today in the name of Manifesto Bar, which is a rock bar in São Paulo, Brazil. We have a lot of great people that have come over to play with us. We are actually having a show with Jeff Scott Soto this weekend. It's the first international show we were going to have in Brazil, and we're very excited about this. So first thing, just introducing us and telling you what we do. I'm Julia. I'll be the person asking you a bunch of questions today, and I'll be translating every answer you give to Portuguese right after that. So the people that are listening to us can also understand this.
Okay, great.
I'm going to translate that for a second, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Então, a gente se apresentou aqui, pessoal. Perguntei para ele se ele faz podcasts, porque ele tem um setup bem interessante. Apresentei um pouco o manifesto. E ele disse que faz uma série de entrevistas via Zoom. Então, vamos ver que coisas legais a gente vai conversar hoje. Well, Charlie, first of all, I just wanted to say I'm a great fan of your work, and I'm really excited to be here today and to be able to talk with you in person, even though through a screen. And, well, I would like to go into the means of the questions already, just so we can start getting the ball rolling. So the first thing that we'd like you to ask is that it's regarding your latest album. It's called You Hear Georgia, and I'd like to know if that is an homage to the capital of Atlanta, where your band comes from. So tell us a little bit more about that project.
Yeah, well, it's not technically an homage. We named the album after that song, You Hear Georgia, at the request of Dave Cobb. When we recorded the song, he was very excited, and we were too, about the song. And he said, I think you should call your album this. And we felt like that was a good idea, seeing as how it's our 20th anniversary. And other than that, maybe it's just a little love on our part for our home, maybe.
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that. Então, pessoal, perguntei para eles sobre o álbum mais recente deles, que eles lançaram em 2020, chama I Hear Georgia. E para quem não sabe, a banda vem da Georgia. Então, perguntei se era uma homenagem à cidade deles e tal, e eles disseram que um pouco sim, um pouco não. Na verdade, foi o David Cobb que ouviu a música do álbum que chama We Hear Georgia, e ele que sugeriu que o nome do álbum fosse esse, porque esse era um hit, era um single, era uma música que tinha bastante potencial. E também tem o fato deles terem um amor bacana e especial pela Georgia, porque todos vêm de lá, a banda foi formada lá e tal. Well, Charlie, talking about your 20th anniversary, actually, we know that in 2020, you had a 20th anniversary. And I know that due to COVID, a lot of your plans were sort of had to change, and things had to change for everybody to be safe and with all the restrictions. So one of the things that we wanted to know is that what was the experience of recording an entire album in the middle of a pandemic, and how it affected the process of recording an album and coming up with the ideas and that sort of thing. And then we can go into the other questions.
Yeah. I don't feel like the COVID experience really affected the process of making the album. Quite the opposite. I think it helped take our minds off the pandemic situation, because we were focused on getting the album finished, because we had a small window of time. We only had 10 days to make the album. So we were able to kind of shut out the rest of the world, you know, and really focus on. So then after 10 days was over, then it was right back home to lockdown.
Back to real life, right?
Yeah.
Bom, então eu perguntei para eles, pegando aí esse gancho desse álbum de 20 anos, como que foi gravar no meio de uma pandemia, né? Se afetou muito o processo de gravação. Ele disse que ele acha que não, que na verdade a pandemia ela não atrapalhou, ela ajudou de certa forma a tirar a mente deles de tudo que estava acontecendo. Então gravar o álbum é você desfocar um pouco de toda essa tristeza e toda essa coisa chata que está rolando e focar. Ele comentou que eles fizeram um álbum em 10 dias e que foi um processo muito bacana, deu para concentrar bastante, deu para produzir uma parada muito legal. E depois cada um voltou para sua casa, voltou para o seu lockdown e voltou para a vida real. Well, Charlie, another thing that we're really interested in knowing is that will you have any plans to celebrate your 20 years? Did you have any plans in 2020 before the pandemic? And do you plan on getting back to those plans and doing something at the end of the year, maybe next year?
Well, we start the Spirit of the South tour in 2 weeks. And included in that tour will be sort of a celebration of our anniversary. We also released a vinyl box set that's available on our website called 20 Years in Show Business. That's a little celebratory product, I guess you could say. And on the upcoming summer tour, we'll have I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this yet or not, but we'll have a little memorabilia museum.
Wow, this is super cool. I guess fans will be really excited about it.
Yeah.
Bom, perguntei para eles se eles tinham algum plano de comemorar os 20 anos de banda no ano passado e se eles têm plano de retomar essa comemoração agora. Ele disse que em 2 semanas eles estão lançando uma turnê, inclusive, e que nessa turnê vai ter um pouco, sim, de uma celebração aos 20 anos de banda. Eles lançaram um box de DVDs que está disponível no site deles, inclusive, que é uma celebração dos 20 anos. E ele não sabe se pode contar pra gente, mas ele deu esse spoiler de que no ano que vem eles vão fazer uma espécie de um museu com coisas, memorabilia de momentos importantes desses 20 anos de carreira. Oh, Charlie, getting back to questions related to the beautiful gear that you have behind you. I know that you're a person that, like, you're a vintage gear enthusiast and that you have many old school guitars. And I just wanted to understand, like, how hard is to keep up with that passion? Because I know that finding rare parts like the Haggis Tele must have been really difficult, and also like keeping them working and making sure that you're being able to find the correct items. I'm not very good with guitar gear, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to know, like, how's that for you? What's that like?
Well, I love it. I love the process of hunting for vintage gear. And it's not really difficult. I have lots of friends that are a big help, and they send me, text messages daily, like, oh, look at this, and the hardest part is trying not to spend too much money. The thing is, to make my wife happy, I have to sell some too, not just buy. I have to sell some too.
Understood. And do you mostly talk to your friends about it, or do you have like people that work with fixing guitars or fixing gears, or do you also search online, or is it like a combination of everything?
Yeah, a combination of all that. I even have, sometimes I'll get messages on social media, somebody will say, oh, I have a friend that has this old guitar. It's been under a bed for 40 years. You should see it. And I said, send me pictures.
Okay, I like that. That's very interesting. Bom, eu perguntei para ele, para quem não sabe, o Charlie é um grande entusiasta de guitarras antigas e equipamentos e artigos musicais, especialmente do rock, que são vintage, que tem ali seus 20, 30, 40, 50 anos. Perguntei para ele como que é esse processo, né? Se é difícil, como que ele encontra esses equipamentos, qual que é a dificuldade de garantir que você tenha as peças originais mesmo. E ele disse que ele gosta muito, que não é um processo tão difícil assim, porque, na verdade, até os próprios amigos dele já sabem que ele curte isso, já mandam mensagem, olha, tem o fulano, tem o ciclano e tal, que, além disso, ele também faz um pouco de pesquisa online e que na própria rede social dele, às vezes, as pessoas mandam mensagens falando, nossa, gente, ó, aqui, Charlie, tem esse amigo meu que tem uma guitarra que está há 30 anos embaixo da cama dele, você não quer olhar? mas que ele diz que ele tem um acordo com a mulher dele, porque a maior dificuldade é não gastar todo o dinheiro dele nisso. Então, que o acordo com a mulher é que além de comprar várias guitarras, ele também tem que vender algumas, e desapegar delas é a parte mais difícil. I know you have a lot of great vintage and old school gear, but would you say you have a favorite piece?
Yeah, there's a 1956 Gibson Les Paul Jr. that I bought in 1993, and it's my favorite.
That is awesome. Is it there?
No, it's not here. It's packed away.
I can imagine. Perguntei para ele qual era a favorita dele, ele falou que é uma guitarra de 1956, é uma Gibson Les Paul menorzinha, que ele comprou em 1993, então ele já comprou essa guitarra faz pelo menos 28 anos. Perguntei se estava aí para ele mostrar para a gente, mas ele falou que está guardada. Well, Charlie, let's talk a little bit about Southern rock, because that's what we're here to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Do you find it harder for Southern rock bands to tour around other countries? Because I know that we know for a fact that are like not that many bands that are specifically do Southern rock that were able to travel to other countries. And would you say it's harder for that version of rock? And what is your experience with that? Because you were one of the few bands that was able to visit a lot of European countries and also come to South America. So how do you feel about that? And tell us a little bit about it.
I don't think that that it's difficult. In our case, anyway, I don't think people really place too much importance on genre, especially in Europe and South America. You'd find more of that in the U.S. People being a little more concerned about what genre of music it is. I think that especially when we came to South America, people, they just like the songs, you know, not really.
Who wouldn't?
Not really paying, not really putting too much importance on what kind of music it is, you know.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that about the United States, but I know that being such a large country, we have different versions, different genres, and people that are advocates for that sort of genres, right? So that's pretty cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bom, perguntei para ele sobre o Southern Rock. Eles são uma banda de Southern Rock e é um estilo de música um pouco específico dos Estados Unidos, que poucas bandas a gente vê viajarem o mundo inteiro, né? Então perguntei como foi para eles, que são uma das poucas bandas que tiveram a chance de ir para a Europa, de vir para a América do Sul, e se eles acham que tem uma dificuldade especial em ser desse gênero específico do Southern Rock. E ele falou que ele acha que não, que na verdade quando ele vai para a Europa e quando eles vieram para cá, ele sentiu que aqui a recepção foi até bem legal, as pessoas elas gostavam da música e não especificamente do estilo, e que ele sente uma resistência até maior nos próprios Estados Unidos, das pessoas serem, eu não gosto de Southern Rock, sabe? Aqui ele sente que aqui na Europa as pessoas gostam de música, e essa música ela pode ser de vários estilos, mas que lá às vezes rola um pouco de uma coisa, eu só gosto disso e eu não gosto daquilo, mais focada no gênero. Então eu achei bem interessante. Well, one of the things that's really important for us to discuss today is that Carlão from Animal Records is the person that helped us write down the questions for today. He's a great fan of yours and a great enthusiast, so he was just sending you some hellos. He was not able to join us today, so he's just sending you a great hug. Excited that at some point you can come to Brazil and you get to meet each other in person and you get to know his record store, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
So yeah, hi from Carlo.
Hi, Carlo.
Also, other than that, I want to ask you a cool question. So yesterday in Brazil, it was what we call International Rock Day, even though it's only in Brazil. But it's a day where we actually celebrate great rock artists and rock bands and the genre itself, because we think that, especially with all the changes we are having in the world, it's really important to pay attention to classical styles that help culture and help music and help give voice to people. Because rock, other than being a great genre, is also is and was a tool for people to be themselves, put them out there, show what they're thinking, and express themselves. So I wanted to ask you, if you had to pick one musician, dead or alive, for you to produce a song with, go into the studio, brainstorm ideas, and create something, who would you pick?
Keith Richards.
Good choice. Can you elaborate?
He's the coolest ever.
Cool. Bom, contei para ele um pouquinho sobre o Dia do Rock aqui no Brasil, que é dia 13 de julho, né? E que foi ontem, então, super coincidência. E aí falei para ele se ele pudesse escolher um músico vivo ou morto para poder entrar no estúdio e criar um som junto, quem ele escolheria? E ele escolheu Keith Richards. Bom, bem óbvio, né? Um cara incrível, um músico maravilhoso, talentosíssimo. Eu falei, você pode, sei lá, aprofundar um pouco mais? Ele falou, ele é o cara mais legal de todos. E a gente concorda, né? Oh, Charlie, now that's sort of a tricky question, and you don't have to pick one of those two choices. You can also say something else. But if you had to name the father of Southern rock in the United States, would you say it was Lynyrd Skynyrd or Allman Brothers?
Well, I would say Duane Allman, because, well, there's a song that he recorded with Wilson Pickett. It was a cover of Hey Jude by the Beatles. And the way that he played the guitar at the end of the song, people call it the birth of Southern rock. I don't know. That's tough. You know, it's hard to pick a musician that's more important than another one. It's, you know, but I love it all, you know.
Ok, great. Bom, perguntei para ele, falei que essa era uma pergunta meio esquisita, porque a gente também não gosta de ficar ranqueando músicos, porém, quem ele diria que é o pai do Southern Rock, né? Assim, seria o Lynyrd Skynyrd, seria o pessoal do Allman Brothers, e ele falou que, na verdade, ele acha que é o Duane Allman, porque ele fez um cover de Hey Jude, e nesse cover, o jeito como ele toca a guitarra no final é o que eles chamam que aquilo foi o nascimento do Southern Rock. Mas ele falou que, pessoalmente, ele não gosta muito de colocar, dizer que uma banda é mais importante ou mais, né, do que outra, mas que se fosse para escolher uma, assim, ele escolheria o Duane Allman. I've never heard that version of Hey Jude, so I'll definitely hear that.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm really interested now. Okay, so when we're talking a little bit about the career and the 20 years that you have been playing and that you have been doing great rock music, what would you say if you had to pick a moment where you had that, you know, that moment when you look around and you say, I'm in the right moment, in the right spot. That is what I love about this. What do you pick, like the highlight of your career so
far? That's hard.
I can imagine. You can pick more than one if you'd like.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, any show where people are really feeling the music and singing along, and I mean, that's a highlight every time. I can't really, I'm often asked pick a favorite venue or a favorite show. I can't, they're all so great. If I think, oh, this is the one, it'll get surpassed, you know?
Yeah.
I'm so thankful, you know, and grateful for our fans and the opportunity to do this for a living.
Thank you for that. It was really touchy.
Oh, thank you.
Bom, eu perguntei para ele se ele tivesse que pegar assim, um momento da carreira dele nesses 20 anos em que ele dissesse, porra, esse aqui foi o momento mais legal de todos. Ele falou que ele não consegue escolher, ele acha que todos os shows que ele faz em que as pessoas estão cantando e tem aquela energia do show são melhores momentos, e que às vezes, assim, quando pedem para ele escolher um lugar que você mais gosta de tocar, um show que você mais gostou de fazer, ele escolhe esse, de repente vem outro que também foi tão legal quanto ou mais legal. Então que não dá para escolher um, ele só é muito grato de poder fazer tudo isso, poder estar aqui, poder compartilhar a música dele. Eu falei que foi bem emocionante entender e ouvir isso dele, porque acho que geralmente as pessoas, elas, foi aquele show que foi enorme, foi aquele que não sei o quê, e para ele, só de estar ali é uma coisa muito importante, muito bacana. Então, achei muito fofo. Well, Charlie, we're getting to the end of our interview. I don't want to take much of your time, but there are a couple of things that we also wanted to know. One of them is related to the pandemic. I know we're all tired about discussing that and going over that, but it's the reality that we're still sort of living. Things are starting to open up in the United States. People are all getting vaccinated and can stop using masks in public, which is something that Brazil will, luckily, in a few months be able to do as well. But I just wanted to ask you if you had to say a couple of words to another person or even another musician that has been having a hard time over the pandemic and that are listening to your songs and are using music as a way to handle everything that's happening, what would you tell a person that is having like especially hard time right now, from the side of somebody that creates music and has been sharing the way they see the world through music, which I think is really important?
I would say hold on to the people that you love. Turn your focus to them, and to positive things. You can't dwell on the bad because it'll drag you down. So focus on the good things.
Ok. Perguntei para ele, assim, a gente está vivendo ainda um momento de pandemia, claro que nos Estados Unidos as coisas estão começando a caminhar um pouco mais rápido, aqui ainda estamos no passinho, mas falei se ele pudesse dar um recado para alguém, até um músico que está tendo um problema ou que está, assim, tendo uma dificuldade maior de lidar com esse momento, que ele diz que o importante é a gente focar nossa energia e nossa atenção nas pessoas que a gente ama e nas pessoas que fazem bem pra gente e focar nas coisas que são boas, porque focar nas coisas que são ruins, elas nunca vão desenvolver e levar a gente para algum lugar. Então, o que é interessante é realmente você virar para aquelas coisas que você tem que são que são as coisas boas que ainda existem no nosso dia a dia, voltar nossa atenção para as pessoas que a gente ama e se dedicar a elas, porque isso é o que vai ajudar a gente a se manter são e a se manter bacana para superar tudo isso que está rolando, né? Charlie, last final question. And this is what I like very much because I have been interviewing musicians for a long time now, almost 8 years. And interviewing somebody, I have the possibility of asking a lot of questions and even personal curiosities of mine. So if you had the chance to interview a musician, dead or alive, because I also like many dead people, who would you be interviewing and what would be one question that you'd ask? I know that's a tricky one.
Robert Johnson. And my question would be, what does the devil look like?
That's a great one. Cool. Bom, perguntei para ele quem ele entrevistaria se ele pudesse entrevistar uma pessoa e o que pergunta ele faria. E ele disse que entrevistaria o Johnson e que ele perguntaria qual é a cara do diabo. What does the devil look like? Achei muito boa, muito engraçada. Curti bastante. Oh, Charlie, thank you so much for your time. Me and Manifesto, we are so glad to be able to talk to you, that you have spent your time and your effort and just to be here with us. I know that all your friends in Brazil are really excited about things starting to open up and maybe the possibility of another tour that comes to Brazil as well. So yeah. If any point you have plans on doing that, count on Manifesto to as a partner, as a place where you can definitely come to grab a beer or to play some music. And we're really excited about that tour of yours that you'll be launching in 2 weeks. And yeah, we're going to be following up in social media. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Have a great one. Can't wait to see you.
Bye-bye.